I'm in a Nissan E-NV200 electric van, and in this video I'm going to show you how you enter your radio security code and what you do if you haven't got that. So on these vans, if that 12-volt battery up front goes flat or you disconnect it, you have to enter the radio pin code, and that would normally be in the manuals. There would be a credit card size little card, and that would have your radio pin code. In my case, I don't have it, so I've had to get it from elsewhere, which I'll show you in a minute. But I've now got that radio code, and I'm going to enter that in. So it is 8061 in my case. So where it's asking you to enter a code, you use these buttons down here. So number 1 is for the first digit. So I keep pressing that until that's 8. And then number 2 is the second digit, but I've got 0 in my case, so I leave that. And then the third digit you change with button 3, and I want that to be a 6. And then use button 4 to change the fourth digit, and I want that to be a 1. So I'll just scroll back round to 1. And then you press button 6 and hold it for enter. And that's now done. And that code was obviously correct. So next, how do you get that code if you don't have it with a vehicle? Well, first off, look for the manuals and look for that little white credit card with the pin code on it. If you haven't got that, sometimes people write it on the inside of the user manual. So look on the inside of the front cover and rear cover, because often it's written in there somewhere. But if you haven't got it in the vehicle, then there are a number of ways you can get that pin code. The first way is you can approach your local Nissan dealer, and Nissan can simply look this up. It's very simple for them to give you the pin code. However, most of them won't do that. Instead, they try to make it a bigger job and say you've got to put the vehicle in and we have to take the stereo out, which is a load of rubbish. They don't. I used to know a service manager who used to give me the pin codes when I was missing them, and he would just email them to me. However, he stopped doing that, and from what I hear, most of the main dealers have stopped doing that. Instead, they want you to put the vehicle in and therefore probably get an hour's worth of labour out of it for what is a very simple job. But a much more convenient and easier and cheaper method is just to go online and buy your radio code. So there are services like onlineradiocodes.co.uk, who I used to use. However, I now just go on eBay and search for Nissan radio codes. And in this case, it cost me £6 or slightly less, £5.92, I think it was. And you just gave them the details of the radio, which you can get up on the screen, which I'll show you in a minute. And I got the code back overnight. And as you can see, I've just got that code, entered it, and it worked. So I've done that for less than £6. So in the video description below, I'll put a few links to all the places that you can get the radio codes for your Nissan NV200 or E-NV200. But you have to provide them the information from your stereo. And what you have to do is when it's got 0000 waiting for you to enter the correct pin, you've just basically got to hold down this 6th button 3 times, effectively entering the wrong pin. So you can enter any old pin in there 3 times, either all the zeros or any number. And on the 3rd time, your radio will be locked out, but it would give you the serial number and some other number. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I'll show you in a minute because I filmed that earlier. But you provide the code generator with that information, and then they can then give you back your correct pin code. So if you enter the wrong pin number 3 times, it then locks the unit. And as you can see, this is locked for an hour and is now counting down. But it then displays the serial number and the part number. And this is the information that you've got to give the person who's providing you with the pin code. But then when you've got your pin code, you've got to wait until this resets before you can enter the correct code. And then when you've got the correct code for your vehicle, do write it down. If you've got the user manual, just write it on the cover of the user manual. And that will help you, but it will also help any other future owner of your vehicle. So I hope that helps. If it has, please do click the thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel. And if you want to know more about the Nissan E-NV200 electric vans, There's a link below to a playlist where you can see all the other videos I've made. Okay, doke, I'll see you on the next one.